Hello, everyone. So happy to be connected yet again for another Tune in Tuesday. And this time we are talking about one of the most precious topics, something very, very near and dear to every human being. There's nothing called overdose of hope. We are talking about hope and how to be hopeful in life from three fantastic individuals who've joined us on this call, who are going to be taking us through why did they choose hope when there's so many other feelings and emotions, and how did hope really help them, and is it really important to be hopeful? Because a lot of times it's like, okay, you're just hopeful, probably it'll not work, why are you even so hopeful? So, looking forward to listening from all these three wonderful individuals who are here with us today, and to learn from them, saying how much did hope really help them. So I'll tell you, how do I know all these three individuals, and from from how long do I know them? First up is Reshma ma'am. Reshma ma'am and I go back to PES college as colleagues, where she used to teach in the central campus and I was a part of the south campus. I happened to meet her in one of the events where, I was running around and trying to figure out for some particular event that was happening. And I saw ma'am was not able to walk so easily, but she was running around. She was still trying to manage a lot of things. And that's where it struck me. And then I said hello to her. And then we connected for a while. She told me a story, I think, close to 12 years ago, and I can even to this day tell the same story the same way that she's told, and that story is connected to me so much that every time I go low, I see an accident that happens, I see somebody going low in life, I connect to that story and take back that life lesson. Reshma ma'am, thank you so much for giving your time and joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
The next person is our most precious Tatin. I can't even call him by name, so I'm going to be looking at his profile and keep calling him Jithesh. Tatin is Arun's cousin, and very silent amongst the entire group. So for all the cousins who are out there and everybody who's come to watch, people know that he's not somebody who's an extrovert who talks a lot, but a person of values, a person who really knows and knows how to value life and knows what does principles of life really mean to him. Amongst all of us, yes, he's the most silent person, but I think he's somebody who's grown as an individual much, much more bigger than the rest of us in our entire family. Tatan, I know this is very tough for you to come here and talk, but thank you so much for coming here and for being okay to share your story of hope with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tatan. The next person is Sujith. How do I know Sujith? Obviously, I connected through Nimi, and that's how I initially connected. And I said, Nimi said, talk to him. I was like, no, can I even talk to him? Because mine is a common people platform. He is a TEDx speaker. Will he even be okay to come and share his life journey? For everyone who's watching this call, if you haven't been following Sujith, please go ahead and follow him on his Facebook and his Instagram page. And he also has a YouTube channel in his name. Please go ahead and watch. For any of you who give excuses, I think this is the man to follow to figure out saying, why you cannot give excuses, and why is life so important, and what does life really mean, just other than the 4 letters. I think we can learn it from Sujith. Sujith, thank you so much for joining us on this call.
It's an absolute pleasure to be on your show and be able to talk, share my story. I mean, you have done wonderful. I've been seeing you, I've been following you, and you have covered so many inspirational stories, and it's an absolute pleasure to be sharing the platform with you and the rest too. And thank you.
Thank you, Sujith. So I think we will start off with the discussion. For all of you who have joined us, grab yourself a good cup of coffee or any juice that you want to have, because this is going to be something that we will have to sit down and talk for a while, and something that has to get deeply ingrained in our minds, because this tool, we will pick it up when we hit the darkness. So I think we need to really focus and learn from all three of them. And if you would want to, please go ahead and share this conversation with your friends, and please do let them know to join. You don't have to bring them onto this platform. Share it on your own personal platforms. I'm more than happy to just share the story with everybody. First up, my first question to all three of you would be saying, can you tell us that story that changed your life? What really happened? Because I'm aware, but if you can share it with our audience, saying what happened during that accident, how was your life before and after, and during those moments, what happened? Reshma ma'am, is it okay that you can take this question first?
Yes. Yeah, so as you said, everything was going well, fine, nice, and then one day all this happened, and it was a road traffic accident which I met with, and hit from the back.
Right.
We were just trying to, just waiting to cross the road on the bike, and we were hit from the back. All the vehicles were standing there.
Right.
So we were all, we all were, thrown in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So then I think there were two cars who could just come and put brakes, and I could see that my leg was there, and it got completely, right leg below the knee had completely got crushed.
Yeah.
So I see, and it was almost, I can see that my foot was it was kind of dangling. So that was a situation there. Yeah. So what came to my mind then was like, okay, that's done, it's over, probably. But the thing is, probably I just kept myself ready for the worst. I thought maybe I would get amputated and all that.
Right.
So that was the first thing what came to my mind. I thought, okay, fine, you have done everything, nice. You can still do it. Nothing is, it's over. It's not over yet. That was the thing which came to my mind first. Maybe that made me, being really very tough towards that, and I could really, sail through this.
Right. Ma'am, so when you said that this happened, if you can tell our audience, ma'am, is the leg amputated? Do you walk? Because I know the story, but just tell them saying what's changed.
Yes. So it was almost, getting amputated, but it did not. In fact, I was taken to one best thing. What happened was I got immediate medical attention. It never happens generally in case of in road traffic accidents. And coincidentally, it happened right in front of a very big hospital in Bangalore. So immediately I was taken there, and the first aid was given. Then an operation was conducted, but it was like they were not hopeful. They were thinking that it has to be amputated. But then I was shifted to some other hospital that was in Coimbatore. So there was a trauma center. So there I could get all the treatment, all the surgeries which I underwent. And today I'm walking because,
and not just walk, you play throw ball in the same way, and you do everything, which most of us give excuses of, where we want to take the lift. I've seen her taking stairs where, for most of us, when we say, okay, let me just use whatever's comfortable, I've seen her understanding the importance of life and enjoying and keeping that smile just the way that she's keeping it right now. Thank you so much for that story, ma'am. Thank you for sharing it with us. Tatan, over to you, if you can describe what happened, and if you can talk about the accident, if it's okay that I ask.
Okay. 10 years back, I started my career as an animator. After 2 years, I got married. After that, life was going beautiful. In 2013, after her final year exams, I went to her college with my brother to pick her. So while coming back, since it was a long drive, we were all tired. So I thought I will take a break for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So after that, while coming back to the car, it was around 6 in the evening. It was getting dark. There was no much light on the streets.
Right.
So while crossing the road, traffic signal behind a deep curve got open, which we didn't see.
Yeah.
So when we reached right at the center of the road, suddenly so many vehicles rushed towards us, and an auto hit us.
Right.
So like after that, I can still see that incident in front of my like that. After that, like I can see everything like something happened like yesterday, like in front of my eyes, like everything I can still remember. Auto hit me, went through on top of me. I fall down. I fall down to an open drainage. Woke up and I saw my wife in a pool of blood.
Right.
So after that, I grabbed her. I searched for my brothers. So luckily, they were safe, um, and we took her to the hospital. So initially, I didn't feel any pain on my leg or anything. I didn't feel any much pain, but I was in a shock.
Right.
Once I reached in the hospital, when I was pushing the stretcher with her, I didn't feel my leg. Like I was loosening the strength, and then after that I fall down.
Yeah.
So like after that, I have seen something like nurses running, the doctors rushing in, and she was struggling for breathe. They were giving oxygen and taking her to ICU. My brothers, there was too much depressed. I don't know. Um, like I didn't feel any pain that time, any physical pain. Like I was like blindly staring at this. Um, Actually, at that time, I really wished this could be a dream, but it was not actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after that, when she was in ICU, doctors took me to do some tests.
Right.
They pierced some big needles inside, straight into my knee for doing some surgeries,
Yeah.
and put a plaster from toe to my hip.
Yeah.
So that time I was not cautious about myself. I was always thinking about her. Like I was so scared actually.
Yeah.
So um, whenever I was asking about her, what happened to her, to others. They were telling she's fine, she's just in observation. So after that, I got to know there was a deep injury and bleeding in her brain.
Yeah.
Doctors were discussing about an open surgery if the bleeding continues.
Right.
Um, Fortunately, the second day the bleeding got stopped. But after a week in ICU, they shifted her to the same room that I was.
Yeah.
Actually, I was much awaiting her. I was waiting. I was waiting for meet her.
Yeah.
While coming to the room, she was tired actually, but she was smiling.
Yeah.
But the first thing she asked me, like, "Who is this?"
Yeah.
So later, doctors said her memory, her memory is scattered. Something she's not recognizing everyone. She's not recognizing like every moment, everything what happened before. Um, like um, I don't know how to explain that
Yeah. No, I
situation.
understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When I am talking about this, like without raising my heartbeat, I couldn't remember that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, Tartan, to today, how is life right now? How is your wife doing, and how are both of you doing today? From that bad a situation, how has life changed to today?
Like life, our life have changed because in between, we did so many things step by step.
Right. Right.
So it is not quite easy to overcome such a situation
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So, first of all, what I did was whatever happened is unfortunate. Like,
Right.
I am not blaming anyone or anything,
Yeah.
but we need to go forward.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, what I did was I accepted the reality, what happened
Yeah.
to us,
Yeah.
and worked for a better future.
Right. I think that's the most important for a lot of us when we go through some situation like that. when he says this, because I belong to the same family, my throat is still choking to even continue talking, because I know how tough and troublesome it could be. And I've seen this couple. I've seen how much they value each other as husband and wife. And I think they just talk in their eyes. They're not people who communicate too much. But I think that sense of belonging and that relationship became much more solid and together after they went through this. I'm assuming that could be the case. And like he really said, right, a lot of us don't even accept reality. And I think it began from there for Tatan, the way he mentioned. Thank you so much, Tatan, for sharing that story with us and for telling us what really has happened. Sujith, over to you, if it's okay, if you can share.
Wow, I just want to say I'm actually sharing this platform with two of the most strongest people now that I know of. I mean, we three have completely different stories, but I'm sure it would have been a rough journey to get us where we are today, with all the years behind us, which people don't see, because people see the results today. They did not know what it took for us to make our families together, for us to make ourselves together and get where we are today.
Right.
So respect to both of you. And so my story, okay, let me give you a small idea of the kind of guy I was before my accident. Story takes place in Bangalore. In 2013, I was doing my bachelor's in commerce in Bangalore. I was in Jain University.
Right.
At that age, for me, I felt, I was at my prime in terms of fitness, in terms of the things I used to do. Bangalore was like a playground. College was just for fun to be in Bangalore. And I was having the time of my life. To be honest, I was enjoying one night. So we have this very common thing. What we do is take our bikes out for a ride in the middle of the night for a chai, a couple of kilometers away, a bunch of friends. So one such night, I was in a friend's house, and we were there for a while, and then we decided let's go for a chai, and that's how the whole plan started. And I do remember this. I do remember that night. I do remember being in that friend's house, and then we took our bikes out for a ride. My next memory was I had a friend with me on the bike as well, behind me. And my next memory was going under a tunnel. That was my very last memory. I remember very vaguely going under a tunnel. The roads were empty, and I was going under a tunnel, and that was my very last memory. My very next memory, which I remember of, was waking up in Fortis Hospital. Was waking up in a hospital, and my family looking at me. And the very first thing that ran across my mind was, what is my family doing in Bangalore when they are out from Dubai, when they are in Dubai?
Yeah.
And then the very first question I asked was, son, can you see us?
Yeah.
And my mom came forward and asked me, do you recognize us? I remember nodding my head for both these questions, and I passed out because I was on high dose of caffeine. So what happened was, I learned a couple of days later, it took me to learn that my brother-in-law, Roya, he came and he told me very silently the next few days, because I realized I was in the ICU. I was told I was in the ICU. I was not moving much. I was not talking much, but he told me that you met with a bike accident and you're in the ICU. And today is the 4th day and you woke up on the 4th day. So I was unconscious for 3 days and I was in coma for 3 days. On the 4th day is when my body started fighting back and breathing on my own. And I had no recollection till date of what happened. But at that stage, the initial stage, I couldn't react because I was so highly sedated. Like I used to be awake just for 15 to 20 minutes a day, and I was sleeping throughout. I had tubes down my nose, down my throat. I learned by the time I woke up, I had a 12-hour surgery that was completed already to save my life. So I suffered 18 fractures on my skull. On the right side of my skull alone, the doctor said I was very close of getting a brain damage or going brain dead, or losing my or it being very bad. And my spinal cord at my T5 T6, that's like my chest level, my spine got crushed at my T5 T6 level. Because of that, the nerves under my T5 T6 level were crushed. So I lost the control of my legs. And I did not know this. I did not understand. And I did not understand what they were saying. I was like, this cannot be true. And like Tartan said, I was just hoping it's a bad dream and that I'm going to wake up from it. I spent the I spent about 2 weeks in the ICU in Fortis Hospital, Bangalore, and followed by another 2 weeks in the ward where I was stable because the doctors did not expect me to survive this accident. They said he had a level 7 surgery, which is one of the highest surgeries in their levels. The level 8 is the highest. So and level 7 surgery I had, and they didn't expect me to survive, but I did. And once 2 weeks I was in the ICU, they confirmed, okay, now the boy is going to live, and the next couple of months were physio, rehabilitation, a lot of things.
And what do you do today, Sujith, if you can tell our audience, saying, from
Today,
there to now, what's
I
changed?
work. I'm a banker by profession. I'm a fitness influencer in the UAE, an official ambassador for Dubai Fitness Challenge. I'm a
Right.
motivational speaker, a TEDx speaker, and I'm living life to the max. That's what I do.
Love you, Sujith. Thank you so much for
You.
that hope, for telling us, really saying, life can actually change. And there's nothing called as the dead end. And for telling us, saying, stay hopeful, don't mess with life so easily. Don't give up
Don't
on
give
your
up.
life so easily.
Don't
Yeah.
give up.
Thank you so much for that, Sujith. The next thing that I want to know from all three of you is, in definition, hope is defined different ways by different people. And I think Wikipedia gives its own definition. Oxford book gives its own definition. I want to know, how did hope look like to you people? How does it feel like? How does it look like? Like, I don't know if I'm feeling hopeful or not. So how did hope look like to each of you? If you can take us through how it looks like, if you can give us an image of what it is, so that the next time we see hope, we're like, okay, this is what I have to do to make sure that I don't give up. So how did hope look like to you people?
Very beautiful, definitely, right? And basically, I think probably what you see is you see your best, whatever you were there again. You're not in that, your best now, but you still, see that, you can become that again, right? So, and definitely, we all have to be greedy in that perspective, correct? So you have to be, because you have to live your life. So you have to be really greedy. So just think that yes, I can be there. It's not very close. It's not very close to you. It's quite far. You know that it's very far, right? But you know that you can reach. You can go till there, because it's very nice, very beautiful over there. You have to go back there. You can't be like in this darkness wherever you are. You are put into, right? Suddenly, from where you are put into that, you're all fine, going well. Definitely, everyone would like to go there. I would feel that you should always have that, right? Maybe your immediate surroundings is very dark right now. There is always the other side, which is brighter, beautiful, right? Well, we should see. Maybe you might have to, you can't fly, you can't walk, you should try crawling there. Go till there, somehow reach it. Definitely you will reach it. You should not, think that, I can't go there, it's very far, I can't reach there. No, you can do it. You can do it. Crawl it, do whatever you want, but you have to muster courage and you have to go. Because it's your life finally, right? You have to do it. Whatever people around you tell you, but if you do not make up your mind, you can't reach there at all. That's what I feel. Maybe that's what I could
What you're telling is, ma'am, what I'm taking back from what you said is, it's something to do with me. It's not to do with the world. It is something to do with me.
Yes.
And if the situation currently is looking dark, hope shows you the brightness in the future.
Yeah. Yes.
Even if I don't know the path, I know that I have to keep crawling towards wherever that light is coming from. And I just keep going, because I will reach there. If I'm hopeful, if I hold on to myself, I will reach there.
Yes.
Thank you so much for those words, ma'am. Tatin, how does hope look for you? How did you become hopeful? What did you see? How does it feel like, Tatin?
I felt like it is not just wishing things happening in the same way as you planned or wished. It is also like how you manage an unplanned situation, hopefully.
Right.
When you're doing something in a complete confident and hope, I think it will give you immense amount of strength to do it.
Right.
Like, for example, if you're going for a interview or something, even for a fishing,
Yeah.
you'll be hoping for the best. like this will be the best day of yours.
Yeah.
So if you're really hopeful, even if you are failed, if you are failed in, you will get the strength to go forward.
Right.
So
Right.
That's what, like Reshma ma'am said, like hope is the light part of our
Yeah.
our life.
Right.
That's what I think, actually.
So, from what you're saying, Tatan, to what Reshma ma'am told, and what you're saying to connect to it, what I'm taking back is, yes, you saw the light. Now, one more thing is you need that strength and courage, saying, yeah, you don't know the path, but just hold on to yourself and keep going. Keep going forward with that strength, and be courageous enough to stand for you, because everything in life cannot be planned, like what Tatan mentioned. There are a lot of unplanned things which happen. When it happens, just hold on, just stay grounded, hold on, stay hopeful, seeing that light, what Reshma ma'am mentioned, and be courageous enough to take that brave step, that one step towards where you're supposed to be going. Thank you so much for that, Tatan. Sujith, what do you want to add, or how does hope
For
look
me,
like?
from what I understand about hope, it's the most important thing in life. Like every day we go back, we go to bed. We hope that we wake up the next day morning to live another day. We hope to make it. We hope to make something out of the next day. So what I understand from hope is, without hope, nothing in our life will move forward. We always hope for something. We always try to work towards something. Now, when I had my injury, I remember going to each and every physiotherapist I knew, each and every doctor I knew, asking one simple question: how many people do you know who has had a spinal cord injury has got back up and walking? Because everyone was just telling me no's and no's until date. I've not had a doctor coming or a physiotherapist coming to me and tell me, like, I know this one patient, he was in a wheelchair or spinal cord injury and now he's up walking. No. So I was always looking for that answer, for that one hope. Maybe, there must be something. But what I understand is it doesn't just being optimistic about things. Hope is what we are being optimistic about tomorrow. We are being optimistic about the subject or the thing that we are going behind. Now, being super optimistic, even in the most darkest situations of our lives, a lot of people might call us crazy. Why are you trying to see the positivity even when there is nothing left?
Right.
The difference is being positive. There are two people. One is positive about a very dead situation, like where there's no more hope left. And the other one is negative by default. One thing for a fact I know is a magic will not happen. But at least the person who is positive, who is optimistic about the situation, will program his mind in a way to find a solution than the other person who has already given up. So you either have an option to either blame to fate. You know what? It's fate. Fate gave me this, and that's the final thing. Or you can have hope in the most darkest point of your life, and you might see a bright light shining. What is the difference? For one person, they might not see the light, but you at least have a chance of seeing a light. That can change everything.
So, just to take back from what you said, Sujith, is hope is not something which is new. I see it every day. Like what you said, I see it saying, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, I'm hopeful. I'm going to be having a good day, I'm hopeful. So it's not like it's only with you three people. All of us common people who are watching this means that we all also have that strength and courage of being hopeful, of seeing the positive side. And another thing that
why do we fight for something? We fight for something even when people tell it's not possible to us, because we are hopeful that we deserve it, or we will achieve it, or we are capable of achieving it.
Yeah, because we
I'm
believe
sure I
in
know you're
that.
coming to this. Yeah. Like a lot of people, when they give us negativity, we still fight for something. When people tell to stop that because you're not good at it. But we do not stop at times because we believe that we can. We have a hope that we can.
Right. And I remember this image which was flooded everywhere. There was a cat which was looking into a mirror and it looked like a lion, and people saying, believe in yourself and see what you want to really become. And that is what I see in all three of your stories today with what you actually mentioned, saying it's your choice. Do you want to see that same cat there, or do you want to see a lion there? It's always your choice. You make that choice of saying, what do you want to do out of your life? And like what Sujith was mentioning, it's the most positive and most precious and cleanest tool that you can pick up, because it's going to hold you grounded and it'll take you towards where you have to go to reach your goal. Thank you, Sujith. Thank you for those words. And for all of you who are listening to us, if you have any questions to any three of these guests, please go ahead and put it in the comment section below. I'm going to be taking all those comments and all those questions and asking these people. I do see a lot of love and a lot of kind messages which has been shared. I'm going to be reading that also to all these three people in some short duration of time. So going forward is, I want to know from you, I was just thinking about these questions. Okay, let me ask you this. What do you do when it all looks very dark, right? And it looks like, okay, it's a dead end. Like Reshma ma'am, you mentioned saying, okay, there should be an amputation that has to happen, right? It's the end of story and it's completely dark. How did you switch towards being hopeful, ma'am? What went into it in that situation for you to think, let me give my life another try? What was that triggered it, ma'am? Because a lot of us, a lot of times feel that fear is there for sure, but I think the fear pulls us down than this hope coming and elevating me. So how did you hold on to it? What was that thought that was running in your mind?
As I said, I was into sports, right? So many tournaments, we were almost losing it. We won it because we're thinking that,
you should probably tell our audience about your sports story as well, because they wouldn't know.
So I played volleyball and I represented university. I was around 5 times, and I was a captain also. The last year of my student life, I was a captain also. We used to play a lot of tournaments. My teammates would know that. So every sports person would connect to this, right? So we always will be trailing. Still, we have the hope that yes, I'm going to win. We are going to win, and that's what is in your mind now, right? So this is like, if you lose it, you lose it. Tournaments, you can go back and play, right? This is your kind of, this is a testing time. You have to win it, come what may. You can't lose it. Yeah. So that's what, comes to my mind. Probably that's what came to my mind also. I'm thinking that, yes, I'll be fine. I'll be definitely fine. I'll be walking. I can't be just, in a corner, sitting and sulking. So one more thing what I would like to tell here is, if our body does not cooperate, whatever doctors do to you, that will not help. Right? Whatever, technology you have, whatever the scientific advances, what we have nowadays, patient has to cooperate, right? Like the body, the mind, everything. If this happens, it should be mutual. Doctors are there. They will definitely, help you. But if your body is not cooperating, and if you think that nothing is going to happen, it's not going to happen, right? Yeah. You start telling yourself, that, yes, you'll be fine. This is all temporary. You'll be fine. You'll come out of it. Right? And as I said earlier, see your better part there, your better picture there. You start visualizing that. Right. Yes, you're in a very bad situation. That's fine. It's all temporary. Right? See that. Visualize that. Your best, how you could be. Yeah. Have that in your mind. So that becomes your goal now. Walk towards that. Or whatever.
And is that stronger than fear, ma'am? Is that thought process stronger than fear, that it can combat fear?
Definitely. See, it's not that we were all, like suddenly, the moment it happened, I'm like, yes, I'm going to fight it. No, we also underwent all that. It's like the first thing is, why me? It comes to everyone. That came to me also, right? And we have sulked and everything has happened. It's not that we're like smilingly, we just took everything. Right. But you should overcome that. That should also be there, right? That should also be there, but you should overcome that. You should start telling yourself, fine, this happened, it's fine. You're going to be fine.
Right.
Right? So when you start creating the positivity, if you start doing that, things will be definitely fine. No, nothing can beat. Right?
And I think all three of your stories are evident validation of how hope can really change a person's life and what can really happen to that person. So I think this is a story for all of us to take, like what you mentioned, ma'am. So it is more powerful than fear, and it can bring down the darkness when I'm hopeful, and I just have to keep talking back to myself saying I'm going to get through this.
Yes.
And if my mind cooperates, then my body cooperates, and then all the things that the medical fraternity can support me with will all be happening well, only if my mind firstly is not hijacked by fear. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for those words. Tatan, if you can tell me, saying, you were so scared about what's going to happen to Gigi and you were worried about the entire thing. How how did you get out of that dark moment, Tatin? I know that you said, even now your heartbeat increases when you think about it. What was running in your mind then for you to come out of that darkness and say, okay, I'm going to give strength to Gigi and I'm going to make her better? What ran in your mind?
Actually, before marriage, after marriage, she went to the college for a master degree, and I went back to Bangalore for my work. So for 2 years, we were not together for a long time. Like only weekends we can meet each other like that. So after the accident, actually, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. It took an year for us to recover.
Right.
So that 1 year we were together, like we got time for understanding each other, helping each other, and actually that 1 year changed our perspective towards the life actually.
Right.
So first of all, what we did is like what I said before, we accepted the reality. Without accepting the reality, we can't go forward.
Right.
So like since we can't go backward to our life, and we can't change our life, so there is no point in blaming what happened in our life.
Yeah.
So
it's mostly about that journey, that 1 year that made the entire difference. Is that right, Tatin?
Yes.
So I think what Tatin mentioned from earlier to what I'm connecting to what you're saying now, Tatin, is you said accept the reality, stay strong and courageous. And when you do that, it's not necessarily it's all going to be dark and bad. Like Tatin mentioned, he looked at it as an opportunity for him to know his wife much more. And I know during the same time, he did a lot of sketching and all of that as well. He used that time to bring out another perspective about life than saying, okay, I have a planned way of doing my life. I'm only going to continue that and I'm going to regret saying, okay, all this is not going fine. So he chose saying, it's not about regret. Let me look at life differently. And trust me, I belong to that family. And I know the way that both of them enjoy each other's companionship and the way that they respect their relationship is much beyond than any of us share with our respective partners. Thank you so much for those words, Tatin. Sujith, over to you. What happened when you say, I know that, you opened your eyes, you saw that things were like this. And I know that you were a boxer and you're an extrovert and you knew this is completely shattered your entire thing. Was it hope that gave you courage, or what made you come back to what you are today, Sujith?
Honestly, it's dark. It's so dark that people cannot even imagine.
Right.
Like hearing both of their stories as well. We most of the time we think it is just that one element that brings depression to us, that accident or that issue. That's not the only element. If I thought the accident was the only thing that would bring me depression, no, there is literally many things that followed after my accident that just kept adding to the pain and bringing me down so much that you find yourself in a place that nobody can help you. And for the first time in my life, at the age of 21, I found myself like that. I literally turned 21 in the hospital. Like, I mean, you have family, you have friends, things are taken care of, you're living a good life. You've never seen wheelchairs, you've never seen hospitals, you've never seen poverty, you've never seen pain. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're in the worst pain a person could imagine. You're paralyzed. I mean, that just shook my world. And the way people looked at me shook my world. The people looked down on me. They didn't expect I would amount to anything. People literally have told my mom on her face that at least he might get a desk job, or he doesn't have to do anything much. Like you guys can take care of him. And I didn't, and it just kept adding along. I had a huge friend circle that just decreased over a span of like 2 weeks when I left Bangalore. So there was so much happening at that time. So what happened to me was there's a lot of anger that got built up in me.
Yeah.
Over time, like I was so active in terms of fitness. I was very active in terms of, socializing, and I just found myself one day stuck in my house in Kerala for a good 6 to 7 months, not doing anything, not stepping out. If I wanted to step out, I was told that you need somebody. And, all this just brought so much of anger in me, so much of pain, so much of anger that I just purposefully kept myself away from a lot of things. I didn't have any interest in life anymore. I didn't want to do anything anymore. I lost a lot of weight. I became literally bones being in the hospital. And I literally did not step out of my house for a good 6, 7 months because other than a hospital visit once or twice. So during all this time, it came to me that there are no friends who you thought there were going to be. That's when this whole reality of life hit me, where you think like friends are life and friends are going to be there till death. No, that is the biggest lie probably I've learned in my life, and that wasn't the fact, because when I wanted, my family was there for me. That was my biggest strength till date. Literally my biggest strength I give any days to my mother. Without my mother, I'm a zero. I'm nothing. I would never reach to where I am today. So when I started figuring and realizing that nobody is helping, that I was looking out for a doctor to help me, for a treatment to help my case, for my family to probably bring somebody from abroad and help me. But then I realized nobody is able to do anything. Everybody's so helpless that they do not know what to do. That's when it clicked me. You know what? Maybe you should do something you've never done before. Maybe you should pick yourself up, because some fire was left in me. There was something in my mind telling me, Sujith, this is not you. You're not a guy meant to just sit and give up on life and be a freaking showpiece for people to just come and give sympathy to. You're bigger than that. You're better than that. Your mind has not given up. Your body is paralyzed, not your mind. And there was one incident I did that gave me so much of fire and gave me so much of hope. I would literally say that is what built the foundation for me to try new things in life.
Yeah. Can you share that with us, Sujith?
Okay, so when I was back in Kerala, and I'm still not coming in terms of the fact that I'm going to be in a wheelchair with all my life. Till date, like Tartan was saying, yes, I completely agree. The only way we move forward from something that has affected us so badly is acceptance. Then we overcome, then we adapt, right? Or adapt and overcome. Sorry if I got the way wrong. But a lot of people have told me, accept this is your future and move on in life, move forward. I hear half what they say, and I stick by this till date. I accept the fact that I'm in a wheelchair now, not forever. Because if I keep playing this denial game, I'm always going to go back in a loop. So no matter how hard this reality was, even for me to accept the fact, yes, I'm in a wheelchair, yes, I'm paralyzed, that is the fact today. But am I going to move tomorrow? Am I doing something about it? Yes, I am. What might be the difference between me and somebody who's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life is that he probably somewhere down the lane gave up the hope of walking and he got comfortable in his wheelchair. Am I comfortable? No, I'm not. You know how many people have told me to get a remote wheelchair and I've denied it over and over again just because the fact, if I get a remote wheelchair, I might be too comfortable in my wheelchair. This wheeling that I do to go to the gym, to go outside, brings me the remembrance that, boy, you still got to get back up.
Wow.
So that's how I find myself. Yes, sorry, the incident. So I was back in my house in Kerala. My room is on the first floor, and I want to sleep in my room. And we have bedrooms downstairs as well. And everyone was like, and I was staying down, and I told my mom, I want to sleep in my room. She like, this is not possible. My uncles came over to visit me. I told them, they're like, we'll think about it in another 5 to 6 months. For now, you just be downstairs. And in my mind, 5 to 6 months, I want to sleep in my room tomorrow. It's not possible. I asked my mom the first day. She denied the second day. She like, Sujith, I can't carry you all the way up. There's no way we can build a lift in this house. So third day, I was so adamant. I was so stubborn. And I thought to myself, maybe I can't walk. I can't run, but I can definitely crawl. And if that's what I have to do, why not? I still have some strength left. That's what I did. I wheeled myself without a permission. I wheeled myself to the end of the step. I picked myself from the wheelchair to the step. And like it's an 18-flight step, And I literally did a push-up, one step at a time. And I did that. I pulled my leg back up because my legs I'm lifting my leg and putting up. I did one more and I did that 18 steps up. You know what? When I reached the 18th step, when I reached on top, I was sweating. I was so tired.
Yeah.
But I got this sense of satisfaction that I just did something what every single buddy told me is impossible.
Awesome.
Everyone.
And
Yeah.
I think so, and I think a lot of people have got inspired from there. Isn't that true, Sujith?
My journey, yes. I mean, a lot of I did what I had to do out of no choice. I had to live life. I would have done anything I could to move forward. Then a lot of people probably started realizing that their lives are so comfortable and they have given up on big things with very little excuses. Because of very little excuses.
Right.
So for me, I didn't have a choice of excuse. I didn't have an excuse. If a person wants to walk upstairs, they can decide to walk or not.
Yeah.
For me, this is the only way I knew how to do it, and I did it. And the Krupalini, I did that every single day I was in Kerala. And in the mornings, I didn't want to trouble my mom coming upstairs all the time to give me food and so in the mornings I used to come back down, and I used to spend the mornings with her downstairs. And when it's bedtime, I used to do the same thing, and she used to help me get back up on top.
You know what, Sujith? I even don't want to summarize what you mentioned because it's so beautifully articulated. I think it's something for all of us to take back. For people like us who complain saying, I can't wake up early in the morning because I don't feel like I'm a little lazy. Or for people who say, no, today I'm not going to take a shower, it's okay. Or for people who saying, you know what, it's okay, this job is not nice, but I'll still continue doing it. There is always a choice, and you make that choice. You always make that choice. And when there is no other choice, probably Sujith could have listened to the entire world except him when everybody else is telling this is not possible. It's very easy. It's not even like he's giving excuses, because that is what people are beating into his head, saying that's the reality. You always have a choice of saying what do you want to do out of your life. And Sujith, thank you so much for saying that.
Thank you.
Like I said last time, I heard this the first time, I'm going to take this to my deathbed. Every time I give excuses, I'm going to say no, I have to listen to this and I have to do what Sujith did. Thank you so much for that, Sujith. And my next question to all three of you, there's so much love and there's so much comments coming in. I'm going to take it immediately after this one round of questions and then ask all of them whatever you've put up here. Is yes, one perspective is about yourself, but there is a family which stood behind this. And what I've seen personally when I've experienced so many times going into hospital with my dad is, I feel he's sedated and he's inside there, but there's a lot that the family is actually going through standing outside. So what is your word of advice to the family? What do you people want to say, saying, if you're converting to being hopeful as a patient, what can the family members do? How can we support somebody? If we have something happening in our families, what can we do? How can we support them? Reshma ma'am, would you start off?
Yeah, that was the best part, definitely, right, in my story. Because starting with my sisters, my brothers-in-law, my husband,
Right.
son, everyone, my mother, right? See, this age you have to depend on your mother. Your baby needs to be vice versa, right? It always happened. One thing I could see is they were all more hopeful than me, probably, because they knew me well. That was one thing, because there was a lot of positive energy around me. And they never treated me like, oh, this happened, no one, none of them cried in front of me. None of them even shed a tear. It becomes very common in these cases, right? They never did that. In fact, because I had to undergo all these reconstructive surgeries, I was completely bedridden for 3 months. So, my sister-in-law took care of me and all these people. Everyone was like laughing, cheerful. It was like as if nothing has happened, right? That is something what you should create around anyone. So that makes you more, hopeful, I would say. So this used to happen, everyone. So in fact, my husband sometimes used to tell me, like, I would be just completely bedridden and I can't get up. So I would ask for something. Okay, sometimes you feel that, right? So next to my bed, there is a bedside table and there is a book or something. I would ask him to pick it up. He would ask me, it's your leg, right? Nothing has happened to your hands. Pick it up. So it's like, you can do it. It's not like sympathizing, oh, you can't do it. It's like motivating you further. So this probably, this really built the strength in me. They all like, even some, I was had this register for my PhD also there, and he used to tell me, utilize this, read papers, write papers, like who would tell that you're in a hospital bed, and people are motivating you. So that's really, it's really very helpful. People around you should be more hopeful than you. right? So that really, gives you more hope.
Right. So I think what I'm taking from you, ma'am, from what you mentioned is, it only reassures the hopeful person when the family makes it feel like, okay, you've come out of darkness. The more and more we sympathize and we are saying, okay, it looks dark, it is like this, and we keep crying around the patient, it only makes that person feel, okay, I'm going towards something which is positive. Probably it's not possible because my loved ones are not thinking like that. And in your story, like you mentioned, because you had your family treating you like very normally, and every day on day there was a lot of laughter and everything around, you felt like you snapped out of darkness and you came into a new space. And yeah, I think that's exactly what is one of the learnings for all of us. If we have a family member who's going to go through something like this or is going through something like this, do not sympathize. Empathizing is okay, understanding the situation is okay, but do not sympathize and make that person go beyond his limits. Like what Reshma ma'am was saying, ask that person, saying, go ahead, do something else. Whatever that person can do, do not make that person feel like you can't do anything. Don't put a boundary around that person, but make him grow. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that nice advice.
Yeah, I should use this platform to thank all of them. I can't name everyone, but it was like I'm really grateful that I had this supportive family and close friends.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure it's not one person at all, right, ma'am? Yeah. There's an entire bandwagon which has worked for you in this case.
Yes.
So happy and proud, and more power to Reshma ma'am's family, whoever did this. We're all learning from you. Thank you for doing this. Tatan, over to you. I want to know from you, Tatan, saying, what is your advice to the family members? What do you have to say to somebody who has who has a loved one going through this? Because you are the right person to answer this than all of us, because you've stood the other side with your pain. What is your word of advice?
Actually, I'm completely agreeing with Reshma. I too had a experience something like that. Right. Our family was completely supporting us. Like they didn't treat us like a patient or something happened to us.
Yeah.
Like they should be in a room. They should need an extra guy. But they saw us like like what happened. Before the accident, how was us? They treated us the same way.
Right.
So, like after the accident, we came to our home.
Yeah.
So that day, everyone was having dinner at the table except me, because I couldn't walk. Like my leg was with a big plaster.
Yeah.
So I was in my room. So. Everyone was having dinner at table. So my uncle said, "Where am I?" So suddenly my brothers get up and took me to the dining room. So I didn't expect that one actually. So he said, we were having food together before. So after that, after this accident and whatever happened, we'll do that together. So that. Like the family which we love, they are the way they are making, where they are holding us together. If we are getting that feel, like Reshma ma'am said, sympathy will not always help in every time.
Right.
Like the feeling of like something like this in a crucial situation give us much more strength, I think.
Right. So Tatan, one is, I know that the family has been supportive to you, Tatan, but yours was a new marriage, if I may ask, saying, it's such a pure relationship. You haven't even established it with your wife. That relationship has not even been stronger. How is it that you were supportive to her, Tatan? What ran in your mind? Why were you so cooperative? Because I know that she does not remember any of those months that you did all that to her, even to this day. What was it that you were thinking, Tatan?
Actually, after that accident, she was much like a kid. Like she was acting like that. Um, like always, whenever whatever happened, whatever she did after 15 minutes, she will forget it. Um, so um, that it took so much time for understanding, and we like did a step by step. I don't know.
No, I understand that. And so, I think a lot of us think, especially as family members, because I've stood the other side of the door, I feel, okay, now that the operation is over, everything is over. So it has to come back to normal immediately. And I think one thing that we should take back from Tatan, what he's saying is, it's not momentary. You have to take those small little steps every day,
Yes.
little things that you have to keep doing to make sure that you come back to that space, but always making sure that it is not sympathy, but you're empathizing that person and supporting that person to come out of whatever
It
is
should
the
not
state.
be. It should not be like a robotic or something. We like after this happened, we have to do that one. Like
Right.
should not be like a copy book, something like that.
Yeah. It should not be like, okay, you have rules to follow now. Just start letting that person live life exactly how that person was living before, and add more love and compassion into that relationship thereafter. Thank you so much for that, Tatan. Over to you, Sujith. So what is your story? What do you
My message is mainly for parents, above parents, more of relatives. And I'm going to tell you why. And I have also a message for the people whoever are going through whatever sort of not just a disability, anything, a hard time in life or what it may be. Now, for me, the biggest strength to overcome what I did was my family, no doubt. And I wasn't a guy who was very close as them. I was in Bangalore. I was just living my own. Like I was literally the guy, Dad, money got over. Where's the next check? Like that was life. And I saw when I was in the deepest pit of my life, there was nobody else other than my family. My dad, my mom, my sisters, Sonia, Sophia, my brother-in-law, Roya, and they were my biggest stronghold. And they made it so comfortable to me because they were understanding. Now, when I got to Kerala, I had so many people, relatives. I don't really blame those people, but it's probably because their mindset is set like that to think, when a tragedy strikes somebody, like in terms of being in a wheelchair, you have to by default go and show sympathy to that person. I do not get it. I was months in my house in Kerala where people were just coming and telling me, Sujith. Now, to all those people, I hope you're watching this. No, they come and they're like, can you eat food again, like a normal person? It's the most weirdest question they got over and over again. Can you eat? What happened? Who was the friend with you on the bike that night? Will you be able to go out? And can you feel this? Can you feel that? So when I used to explain to every single buddy coming sitting next to me, asking me what happened. I'm like, yeah, I can't feel my legs. And the minute, this is the most disrespectful thing I've faced after my accident. Initial days were like, and the minute I said that I can't feel my legs, they used to come and touch my leg, asking, oh, you can't feel that? And then I'm like, no. And I remember over and over again, everybody used to get so shocked with the fact they can't accept the fact that this guy is telling them that he can't feel his legs. And the minute I say that, they used to place their hands and they're like, oh, you can't feel that? And I'll be like, no. And it used to make me so angry inside, but I used to just keep quiet until one day I remember to this one uncle who came and did the same thing, and I just shouted at him, telling, don't you understand what I'm saying? And it hasn't happened since, but people do not know how to. And if I wasn't this strong as I am today, I would probably break then. I wouldn't probably want to see anybody's face again. So to the relatives, to the family, sympathy is not something anybody wants. Empathize, like you said, understand their situation and act normal. Act like there is, go move ahead in life. Like there is something that happened. Yes, it is messed up right now, but it's not the end of the world. It's not. I'm not telling people to start behaving like nothing happened. No. Acknowledge the fact something happened, but move forward in life. It happens. It happened. Life is not going to be very comfortable. If life was very comfortable, none of us would grow. There wouldn't be champions. What is the difference between champion and a normal person, a mediocre person, a person? If life was easy for everybody, everybody would have been a champion. but there is a reason we call some people champions, some people legends, and some that's just another person.
Very true, Sujith. Guys, for everybody who is listening to this, I'm not sure, if you're going to take back any lesson on hope, but I think this is some lesson that we all have to take back. When somebody is in pain and you're going and visiting, a lot of us visit a lot of relatives, and then, it's an opportunity for just saying things and talking to that person. Do not start the conversation by asking that person to recollect the entire thing again. I've seen this over and over again in families which has met death. There's a death in the family, the same story that person repeats to hundreds of people. I'm not sure if we, please take this back from what Sujith is also clearly saying. Do not ask those questions so many times. It's okay that this is the reality. You don't have to know all the nitty-gritties of the story. You don't have to feel it that way if you're not going to be supportive to this person. And the second thing is, especially for the close family, do not allow these people to come back into life. To come into life like this. Like, all these relatives, I think it's like a guinea pig who's there. You just come, you experience this guinea pig and go back. I don't think you need to appreciate every relative who comes in. I learned this the hard way from my sister, when I think my dad made us learn this over and over again, where at least 5 times I've stood on the other side in the hospital, hoping that he's going to be better. Every family member who used to come, ask the same question. So the trauma goes all over again. We tell that person the entire thing. And then post that is over, then you just make a casual comment and you go. You're like, okay, so is this person going to live? Why do you even want to ask those questions? So if anybody is listening to this, if you are going and meeting a friend, if you're going and meeting a second person, a second relative, be very cautious of what are the questions that you're putting forward to those people, because they are fighting their own battle already. So just thank you for bringing this up. Because I don't think, go ahead, Sujith.
Sorry if I'm taking too much of your time.
No, please go ahead.
So I have what I want to say to the parents also as well. If you have a person in a wheelchair, because I got in a wheelchair like 8 years ago, and do not discourage them from doing something, even though it might sound impossible. Why I'm saying that? Because when I came back to Dubai in 2015, 3 years I spent in Kerala and Bangalore on and off. When I came back in 15, I was so skinny. I lost a lot of weight. I could barely balance myself on my chair. Like if I raised my hands up, I would have fallen on either side. And I was at such a bad stage of balance of my upper body. And I told my mom that I want to go to a gym. And my mom said, do what you want to do. If you feel it, do it. If she discouraged me that day, I probably wouldn't step in foot in a gym. If I never stepped foot in a gym, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. My biggest strength for me till date, what I can say was going to the gym. Not to build a body, but that's where I got the mindset to be. That is where I felt I was like, I got a chance, equal opportunity. Guys who are walking, who are running, cannot do as what I do in a gym. And for whoever knows me, how I work out in the gym, knows what I'm talking about. So because I got the support of my family is why I even thought of stepping in foot into a gym. I wanted to do it. But if I was discouraged, I wouldn't probably be here. But that one slight encouragement from my family is what got me to a gym, what got me to doing so much, being a fitness influence in the UAE. And for the people who are in wheelchairs, who feel love, this is something I face, that's what I'm telling you very personally, is when I got on a wheelchair, there is so much of thoughts that run in your mind, the way people look at you. Like for my age, would a woman look at me again? Would I be fit to enter a certain place again? Can I just go into a party again? Like what is a wheelchair person doing in a party? Now, for me, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. You know why? If I felt and I went, for example, because I go for a lot of parties, I have no problem. And people get so inspired, and I've had people come to parties and tell me like, whoa, you are such a ball of energy at this party tonight. So if I went with that mindset, like people are watching me, I shouldn't move, people would have looked at me the same way. Today, people, when they look at me, a lot of people say they do not see the wheelchair. They see me. It's because of the way, the confidence that I had in myself. So I have to tell all of you, each and every one of you, the journey is never easy. It's hard. You can literally never see what's coming in front of you. But that positivity of the way you believe in yourself more than anything in this world is what's going to change the game. That's
More
what
power
I
to you,
have to
Sujith.
tell for
And
the
thank
people
you
out there.
so much for sharing that. I think this is something, even if we are not on the wheelchair, for a lot of us who give excuses and who think, saying, how will I fit in? Will I be okay? Will I not be okay? Okay, they're inviting me to something new, which is a new change that's going to happen. Learn. This is the best way to learn. And that's exactly what Sujith is telling us, saying, you should first believe in yourself, and you take that same energy into any room, and you can change the world, and you can change the way that the world looks at you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, Sujith. I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions which has come from the audience before we move ahead with other questions that I had on mind. First of all, there's so much love and there's so many messages which has come. So I'm going to read those for you a little later, where people are saying very good inspirational stuff to you. Let me pull out a question from here. If any of you want to take this, can you define what is fear in your language? How does fear look like? This is a question from Niladri. He says, can you define and tell us how does fear look like? Any one of the
Can I
two of
take
you
it?
can take it. Anyone? Yeah, go ahead, Sujith.
Fear for me is the end of everything. Am I scared? I'm not going to tell you I'm a superhuman and I'm not scared. Yes, I am at many points of life. And like Krupalini was saying earlier, there is, you're never, do you have your down days?
Yeah.
I do have my down days big time. Though people see another side of me, there are days where you're so down, where you just want to give up, where you're done with life. You're done being in a wheelchair. You're done not walking. You're done. That day hits you. That's the truth. And there's so much of fear then of my future. Will I ever walk again? Will I ever get probably a normal life again, back on my feet? So fear for me is, definitely the worst thing. But then over time, my positivity, the way I've managed to be positive, the way I've tried to program myself and remind to myself, because one thing I've done, which I'm so happy for myself, is that I have not depended on anybody or anything for something. I've tried to always find and believe in myself, and that the power is there in myself to transform. If I always was seeking out for somebody or something, I would probably have the fear that the minute that person left my life, what am I going to do now? Or if I always depended on something, the minute that thing went out of my life, I would always be dependent. So that's something I think I've never done. So even in my sad days, I probably tell myself, like, you feel bad, isolate yourself, stay in your room, don't do anything, don't talk to anybody, don't care about anybody. Fine, that's reality. You're a human being. You gotta feel pain. Accept that. Cry today, cry tomorrow. But make sure the third day you're back up your feet, and you should know why you started your journey, and not to give up in between. That's what we spoke about, hope. We have to have hope.
And I think fear really wins when you subdue to it and you say, I accept what you're showing. So it's only that I think fear keeps knocking till you start giving away yourself, of saying, okay, I might lose. The more you give up, fear becomes much more stronger. The more you hold yourself, I think that's where the strength comes from. And that's where okay, you can battle this fear. And that strength, I think, is the beginning of hope, like what all three of them have been mentioning. There's another nice question here. This is from Jubin Korean. Any of you can take this. He says, everyone wished if it was a bad dream, even me after an accident. How did you feel when you understood that it's reality? Do you count the past as fate or luck or something else? So how did you accept this as reality? Any of you can take this question.
Yeah, so see, one thing is, many times you feel that we want to come back to yourself back, right? The original form, whatever you thought of, right? So you should not, try to jump into the highest stage. It's a transition. It's a transition, right? And many times what happens is you should be like, that you can't be that again.
Yeah.
You might not be. I don't say can't be. It might not be, right? Yeah. You can, see yourself again back there, right? So you should, work towards that. You should not, again say that, you had all past glory and all that. Probably, Sujith would well explain that, how we were doing. Everything will be in, in your hands now.
Yeah.
Understand that it has happened like this, but you can cope. You can always, come back. Probably that's what I would like to say. Sujith?
Sujith, anything else that you want to add to this, Sujith, to what Reshma ma'am is saying?
No, I agree what she has to say. I agree with what she's saying.
So, it's about accepting reality and not necessarily your life. A lot of us make this mistake of saying life has to go back to how it was before. Like, even during these COVID times, I think that's what we're all thinking. Life will go back to how it was before. It might not go back to how it was before, but you can make it much more beautiful here henceforth. It's all choice. Yeah.
To answer that person about life will ever be back to normal, go back. It's not supposed to be, because I think every journey of our life, we're trying to progress. We're not trying to be the same person that we are. And when things happen, it unlocks new doors in us, new opportunities in us, and that literally shapes shapes a new way for us to move forward. It's your story. I tell people, live life. Life is not complicated. It's not about sadness. It's not about happiness. Start thinking this is life and not this. Your body is not that. Why I say that is because I started thinking, and then I started seeing a side of myself, a side of life of immense potential that I've never seen before. Why did that happen? Will 20-year-old Sujith do all this he did today? No, back on 2 feet he wouldn't probably.
Yeah.
I got in a wheelchair. I got through so much of pain that pushed me to discover sides in myself that I never knew before. That opened so much more new doors. I started seeing life. I started seeing both the sides of life. So I don't think life is never going to be. Yeah, please.
Sorry to interrupt. I remember you mentioning, saying, you did a rap and then it became viral and everything. Probably the beginning of it is also because you met that person in that situation, right? The rap which became viral and people started following it, right? So I think it's like if he had thought, no, I want to just be a boxer, I don't want to be anything else, he wouldn't have been everything that he is today.
If I had a fear of putting things out, because I had that fear before, I always wanted to dance, but I never danced because I thought I would look stupid in front of people doing all these moves. And but after what I started realizing is you don't really have to go by people's opinions, whether you're good or not. If you're bad, you will discover it down the lane that, whatever you're doing is not working. Big deal, but try it, fail, get embarrassed. There's nothing, it's not the end of the world if you get embarrassed or if you look like a fool in front of a crowd. I mean, we all have looked like, probably got a very embarrassing situation in our life that we're not happy about. But do people talk about it today? No. Does that haunt you today? No. You move forward from it, but don't let that fear stop you making something big out of something, So for me, when I wrote that rap, I could have been like, probably are people going to like my rap, or will it be accepted, or will they hear it? I didn't do it for anybody. I want to portray a message. I did it in the best way I knew. And I put it out there and got played on the radio, and that led to an award coming my way. And the way it opened doors. And now like I was telling you guys earlier, my first music video is going to be coming out in a few more days. Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. So it's all because you took that chance, right? So
you've got to take a chance.
Yeah.
And people to get to your head and tell you you're no good.
Yeah, and most important for all of us to take back from what Sujith is saying is, do not let the world validate if you're good or bad. You make that validation to yourself. Yeah. Don't empower everybody else more than you. Empower others' opinions is important, but not much more than yours. I hope that answers your question, Shalini, when you asked that question of saying about external validation. I think Sujith beautifully mentioned that. So going forward, I know that there's quite some more comments and all that. I'm going to be reading this in quite some time. Going forward, my question to all three of you is this. A lot of us, a lot of times tend to say this, saying, it's over, I'm giving up. Like, I lose a job, I say it's over. I lose a relationship, I say it's over. No, I don't think there's anything beyond this. We call life, I think, a lot of times we tend to see that it is over, life is over. What's your advice to those people? Because you've seen life close to being over. At least Sujith has measured it in terms of 3 on 15, whatever is the count that's supposed to be. When you've seen life almost snapping at you, you came back from it. So what's your advice to all of us who give up so easily and say it is over? I'm not going to be attempting anything furthermore. Reshma ma'am, what's your advice?
Definitely it will not be over, right? When you feel that, there is always, there's always a next time. I mean, in the sense that, second chance, right? You're alive today. That means that, you lived for a cause. You're there. You're alive because of that. That means you have to do something, right? So it's a next chance which is given to you. May not be in the same form and shape what you had earlier. It's in a different form and shape which is given to you, right? But you have to, that's the second chance what you got in your life. You have to just pick it up. It's not that I don't like this, right? I don't like the color of this gift, whatever I got. I don't like the shape of this. No, you got it, pick it up, grab it, right? Just continue with that. Again, as I said earlier, it cannot be the same as it was earlier, right? See, second chance, it might be better. It might be much better than the previous one. It could be like for any case, like I said, losing a job or something. Even I talk to many of my students, all the same thing. Fail, it's okay. Next time you'll not fail. Don't you'll never fail. It's fine. It's okay to be. It's okay to fail actually, right? So you have to be positive. That's it.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Reshma ma'am, because, I think for a lot of us, this makes a lot of difference, saying there's hope. It's okay to fail, but there's multiple other things which will come up. I think we lost Tartan there by the time he comes back. So just over to you. What is your advice to this youngster?
I want to, for that question, very good question, whoever has asked that. Who has asked the question?
I'm only asking that question. So
you are? Okay.
So you can appreciate me. I can take it.
No, it's a good one. I have two things to tell you. Yeah. I mean, I think you know this, but I just want to tell people who are watching right now as well about giving up. If I wanted to give up, I could have given up at any stage of my life since my accident, and people would have been completely okay with it. And I had a proper reason also why I given up, and people would have been fine. Yeah, you know what? He has a reason to give up. I could have done that. I could have been living comfortably. I don't have to push myself like the way I did today. But that's not what I chose. It was a choice I had to make. Either be comfortable, give up on life and see nothing in life anymore, or go out there, take the biggest chance I have and make something out of life and discover life in a way I've never seen before. I'm still a kid. I'm like, 28 years old. That's it. People who think, I know at that age, they're like, no, we have seen so much. People have seen nothing. At this age, when I think I've seen so much, I still feel I've seen nothing. Now, two stories, what I just want to share here is when we give up, people generally give up such big dreams, such big things on the most simplest of excuses, that they're being lazy or they don't want to push themselves that hard. Now, what is pushing yourself? Let me tell you a short story, what I did when I wanted to go to the gym. Big shout out to Chris Fade when he called me for his event for the first time, and it was in Mina CI in Dubai, and that's the first time I became a motivational speaker. I got a membership from UFC gym for 1 year, and that was like a big thing for me because I'm like, wow, UFC gym is like a big deal, and I was like, that's amazing, and I got a 1 year membership. The next problem was, how do I travel? Because whoever knows UAE, I stay in Sharjah, and this gym is in Dubai, which is by road more than 45 minutes away from my house. 45 to 1 hour. And there was no way I could travel. There was no way anybody could drop me every day. There was no way I could cab it. I could take a cab because it would be too expensive to go back and forth. But I had to find a way. Now, whoever is listening, I want you to visualize. I used to wheel myself physically. Morning, like about 5, 6 o'clock, I used to leave home. I used to wheel myself for about 900 meters. I used to go through a mall, go up a footbridge, through a mall, and get to the Dubai side. I used to take a cab from Dubai to the nearest metro station, which is like about 5 to 10 minutes away. I used to get on that metro, which is at Jithesh, and I used to go all the way to Business Bay, which is another 40, 45 minutes. From Business Bay, I used to take a bus for another 20 minutes just to get to the gym. I used to wheel myself to the gym. I used to work out for like good 2 hours, and I used to do the same routine back, like finish from the gym, catch a bus.
Can you tell our audience saying how long is this total duration of one way?
Every day, 5.5 hours for one gym session. 5.5 hours because I was obsessed to work in a gym. I did that on a wheelchair. And I tell people who have gyms in their own building, they find excuses not to go hit a gym. It's not about building your body. It's about your life. It's about fitness, keeping fit, keeping your body running, because your body is a machine. It's not meant to just sit on a sofa and get lazy and fat and then complain and put all your life problems on that. I generally believe your fitness has a lot to do with your mindset, because if you're willing to push yourself in a gym or any kind of physical activity for that matter of fact, that helps you indirectly push yourself in life.
Right.
And that is, for me, making a choice of not giving up on life. And secondly, to share a very personal story. Um, I've been through more than 16 surgeries till date. And like Reshma ma'am was saying, given a second chance, I think Reshma ma'am, I was given a third or fourth chance, because the first, right after my injury, the doctor said I wouldn't survive for more than 4 days. So me surviving the fifth day was a big shock to this doctor. And he came up to my dad and he told, 26 years in my service, I've never seen something like this happen. And he was a neurosurgeon. He said there's never seen a person coming back with so much of injuries. And when I was in Kerala, 6 months down the lane, when things passed, when I was just stabilizing, we went and did an Ayurvedic treatment. Something what we call a Natavaidyam, so like a very local Ayurvedic treatment. And this guy completely messed my life up. He put me on a diet. He put me 6 hours in so much of treatment, so much of torture. It was torture as in terms of the diet I went through. Like I was barely eating anything. I was eating dosa and sugar for 3 months as breakfast. Believe that. I didn't have juices. I didn't have fruits. I was given rice and lady finger gravy twice a day. This was my diet. So already the body what I lost, like being skinny, I was getting even worse. I was not having any nutrients. I was going so weak, and I developed blood infections during his treatment. But he was like telling us, if you take us to the hospital, there wouldn't be. They might give a medicine, and it will back his medicine up. Like it would repel his medicine. And I was so desperate that I would do anything to walk at that age. I was just 21. And I just wanted to walk. Like nobody's telling me I could walk. I suddenly found this guy who would coming and telling me that he can make me walk. Because of him, till date, I've undergone about 14 surgeries. From my initial accident, the only two surgeries what I had was on my head and my back. Two rods were placed on my spinal cord. The rest 14 is because of the damage this man has done. And to share with you, because this is going to be reaching so many people, I've considered suicide so many stages of my life. I wanted to give up. I was under so much of depression because I couldn't accept the fact that I'm on a wheelchair. And there was so much of pain, so much of sympathy, so much of negativities, with no light in front of me. That's what it looked like. And I was done, and I could have given up. I even researched on how to do it. But then every time when I went too deep into it, there is a voice that told me, you're not a loser. You're not a coward. You got to live life. There is so much to life, but you have to do it by your own strength. You can't depend, you can't look, you have to fire. Just freaking discover it. And that is what honestly pushed me. And the minute I started doing that one thing after the other, when it became a trend, like to me, like when I started becoming positive about my situation, when I started accepting and working towards making my situation better, I started seeing that's become an inspiration to so many. And then I think the rest is history to where I've reached today. Like to make me the person I am today. I mean, it's so much of factors. But I'm telling you, me sharing my story, I've been through the depth of hell to bounce back up.
Right. And thank you so much, Sujith, for telling us all
Sujith,
this.
I have seen such a positive person like you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yes.
You are unbelievable, man.
It takes a lot of courage for somebody to come out like this and to say, I've actually gone through all of this, because that strength that you have to tell that story today itself talks volumes about how much you've moved from that space and where you've really come into, Sujith. And for a lot of us, when we say, life is over, there's no better example than what Sujith gave us right now, saying there is enough opportunities to give up. I don't think there is any day a lesser shortage of opportunities if you want to give up. There is enough that you can pick up easily and say, I'm giving up. But there is only one person who can make a change into this entire thing, and that's you. You have to choose saying, I'm going to give this another chance. And if you give that chance, these three lives here are true examples of saying life can change. And it will change if you're positive. If you do what is their word of advice to youngsters who give up easily? Wanted to check with you, from Tatan, saying what is your word of advice for people who give up easily?
Actually, I didn't hear.
Can you hear me now, Tatan? Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to know from you, saying what is your word of advice to people who give up easily?
Actually, I felt like life is a battle against myself. Like I got a lot of situations like that. So there will be always up and downs. But once when you are hopeful for doing something, um, you'll get a lot of energy from that. So once you are like my wife's dream was like becoming a teacher. So but after the accident, she was getting so many headaches, like continuously, even if she's reading a newspaper or reading a disturbing story from anywhere, she was getting headaches. So it was like very difficult to her to being a teacher. Like there are so many things will going on. So what she did is like she worked like step by step. It was quite easy for her to stay back at home and like in a safe zone. Like if she, so
and say I'm not going to go and do anything because nobody
yeah,
was pushing her.
Yeah, nobody was pushing her. Yes, but she was not ready for give up. Actually, she tackled each and every problems, and she found a solution for getting what she decided to do.
Yeah.
So she is a better example for me to never give up. Actually.
Yeah. In fact, for people who are listening, I know how much Gigi, who is Tartan's wife, loves her subject. We all, in fact, make fun of her. Her status, her everything is botany and biology. And for her, when you show her a plant, she will tell the biological name of it. And I know how much she enjoys doing that because she knows the effort that she's put into it and how much she loves her subject and her enthusiasm of wanting to become a teacher. How many times she's spoken to me saying, Krupa, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? A lot of us can give up, right? Not like she had to do it, but she did it continuously. The amount of effort that's gone in is what she's made a life for herself today, and she has an identity other than just being Tatan's wife.
Yes, I have seen the amount of effort she took for being a teacher. Like I have seen every day after got the job, every day she was coming to home with a headache. So actually, I have told her so many times, like if you are not able to do this, you can take a break.
Yeah.
But she was not ready for that. Like it was more like a passion for her. Headache was nothing in front of her.
Right. So I think, for all of us who give excuses, these three people, whatever that they've told, I'm going to leave this recording on Facebook. Please go back and keep listening to this every time you feel like giving up. I think they've told what you really have to do. And it's a lesson that I'm going to take back for sure. And I'm going to keep learning from your people. My last question to all three of you, because this recording on Project Nyan, what I do, is something, as long as Facebook is going to be there and as long as YouTube is going to be there, I'm not bringing this down, come what may. So I want to know what's your last word of advice to anybody across generations. I'm assuming YouTube is going to remain like that forever. So across generations, what's your last word that you want to say on your closing note of saying how important is hope and why should a person be hopeful? Your closing thoughts on this before we end the session, and I tell you who all have shared love to you. Just want to know your closing thoughts because this is going to remain forever. Reshma ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, so I would like to say that make it a habit, okay, to think positive. Okay, it should become a habit to you. You should be always positive. It's like your dose of nutrients, that day's nutrition. right? You have to have this. And again, it cannot be supplied exogenously, right? It has to come from within you, right? Make it a habit to think that, yes, everything should be fine. It should become, like you're going to be fine. Start telling yourself. And it's all, everything, like as you say, this too shall pass, right? So you know that it's all temporary. So think positive, tell yourself that you'll be always like this. You'll never go back. You'll never have negative thoughts, because it's quite natural to, get negative thoughts, right? You start feeling that you can't do it. But if you think that, start going, many times it happens like that. You keep listening to something, you get used to it. So you have to listen to your inner voice. Keep telling yourself, it should be fine. It's fine. It's okay. You'll be fine back. I think that should be the dose of nutrition.
Just about being positive and just reiterating to yourself. And like I said, I know Reshma ma'am 12 years before, and I remember that smile on her face, the way that she carried herself. And she did not let any of us sympathize her because she was not able to move. She wanted to do everything by herself and actively do it like a youngster. Like, I'm talking about 10 years before, how young I was. What I was able to do, she was doing it with all the problems that she had. So it's all just about yourself, and stay positive and do all positive things. Tatan, over to you. Your last words to the world.
Actually, I believe in the quote, like, if one door closes, 100 will open. But actually, there will be 100 doors open always. But you have to knock it. Otherwise, you will never find it. That's
such
the
a
whole
strong statement, Tatan. Such a strong thing for a lot of us who think it's over. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Tatan. Thank you for saying that. Sujith, over to you. And before you answer that question, there's a big fan of yours who's asking you to flex your biceps and show them how good have you actually trained, and they want to see it. If it's okay with you.
Okay, so I'm a little off shape.
Wow.
That is for the person asking.
Yeah.
And okay, so back to the advice. I just have a message. What I always tell people, this is something I didn't have before, but when I started implementing this in my life, it completely changed my life all over again. Have a vision. Vision is the most important thing you have to have. It should not be somebody else's vision. It should not be your mentor's vision. It should not be somebody you want to be like. Your own vision of whatever you want in life. Have that vision. I have 3 points. Number second, don't listen to the naysayers. In life, how much ever you grow, the more you grow, you're going to get people telling you you're not good enough, that this is not meant for you, or this does not suit your lifestyle, this does not suit your role, this is not you, that is not you. And you're going to find a lot of people not liking you, not accepting you for who you are, and trying to find faults in you. These are the naysayers. They're going to tell you dreams are not good enough, that you're going to fail. So my second advice to you is I've had a lot of naysayers in my life, and I listened to none of them. So don't listen to your naysayers. Listen to yourself, your gut. Number 3, if you haven't failed, fail in life. The best thing I can tell you today is fail in life, because the minute you fail in life, you will understand where you stand with that thing or whatever you're doing, and how much that is going to be in your life or add value in your life. Unless you try something, you would never know if you're good at bad at it. And if you're only going to play a safe game, that let me try this one thing because I'm only good at something and not the other thing because it's too risky, you might probably, like Artin said, be closing a door that's actually going to make you be great.
Right.
You might actually close that potential on yourself with the fear of looking stupid, or if you tell your thoughts out of people making you feel stupid. The most craziest, the most richest men in the world, the most successful men had started an idea which I'm sure a lot of people would have told them that that's rubbish or does not make sense. And that is the future. That's the future we are living in today. So have a vision. Don't let people bring you down, and believe in yourself. That's
Thank
the most
you
important
so
thing.
much for that, Sujith. And there's another nice little thing that's been asked. I'll read it out for you. A very nice comment, very heartwarming for me to see. This is from a girl to you, Sujith. She says, I think Sujith's personality is so powerful and addictive. I don't see the chair. Is he still single? I'm a big fan of his.
How sweet.
So do you want to answer that question if you're still single?
I shall answer them in the comments.
Yeah, and there's been some fantastic messages from a lot of people here. I would request all of you to kindly probably go back and read the comments, because there's such heartwarming ones. I even can't read out everything because there's at least 60-70 which has come for all of you. I would request all three of you to take your time and to go out there and probably after the session is over to respond to them. With this, we come to the end of our discussion on hope. Thank you so much for giving me your time. And like I always say, it's I think the most precious that a person can give is not diamonds or not something which is luxurious. It's time, because that's something that we also don't have control of. And I'm more than thankful for all three of you for giving me this much time and for sharing your stories with us and for telling us so candidly what life really means. A lot of us will take back on this platform what it meant, what you people told us. A heartfelt gratitude to all three of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to at least, just convey our, whatever feelings we have, and if it could, affect someone, that would be really great.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I hope more and more people come and share life lessons like this on this platform. Please do reach out to me, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to, put you out here to have this discussion, because this is not a platform for me. It's a platform for all of us. It's for every eye of this world. So please do share and come back and tell me whatever you want to share. I'll be more than happy to connect. And the next week, we are going to be talking about the life journey of twins. We think twins is only about just the cuteness that they have, but there are going to be three pairs of twins, and a lot of surprises for you people out there, where they'll be coming and sharing their life journey with you and telling you what does it mean to be a twin and how easy or difficult it is to bring up twins in the family. So if you are interested to learn about the life lessons about twins, do join us on the next Tuesday for another Tune In Tuesday. So until we meet again, sending you all loads of love and hugs. And thank you so much for joining us for this candid conversation today. And thank you to all the guests who joined us today one more time. Sending you love and hugs, and bye-bye from all of us.
Yeah. See you all. Bye.
Bye.